Hari Om. I'm talking on history of Yoga Nidra in this session. Yoga Nidra has become very popular these days and it's being a part of almost all yoga classes all over the world. Most yoga teachers use this wonderful technique of Yoga Nidra. Basically, there are three words that can describe this state of our awareness or state of our mind. The first, it's a state where the mind is in the state of concentration. Generally, our mind is diffused, dissipated, distracted, or distressed. Yoga Nidra is a process that takes our mind into this concentrated state, which is missing in our day-to-day life. Focus state of our mind. The second aspect of this Yoga Nidra state is relaxation. The mind is relaxed in this state. Generally, if we are relaxed, we go to sleep. If we are awake, then so many thoughts keep coming and these thoughts stress us or create anxiety or create negative emotions. But Yoga Nidra is contrary to all this and it brings this relaxed state. And the last and a very important point here is the mind is not sleeping or the body is not sleeping. The mind is awakened. It's in the wakeful state. In Yoga Nidra, the mind does not go to sleep at all. In fact, it is much more aware of the whole dimension of our consciousness. So Yoga Nidra can be described as concentrated state, a relaxed state, an awakened state of our mind. Swami Satyananda, who is the founder of Bihar School of Yoga, is credited with the modern version of Yoga Nidra. It's a very systematically designed process by respected Swami Satyananda, who is one of the great authorities on the science of yoga in this century. He has successfully spread the science of yoga all over the world, the traditional yoga all over the world. And Yoga Nidra is certainly a great gift from Swami Satyananda to humanity. Swami Satyananda got inspired from various ancient yoga texts and then he designed this Yoga Nidra based on his understanding and ideas of these texts. And of course, he considered the requirements of modern lifestyle, the problems that we encounter in this modern lifestyle. Swami Satyananda says that the Yoga Nidra has its origin in Tantras. Tantra is a mystical yoga tradition. Tantra talks about expanding the consciousness, expanding the mind, the field of mental awareness, and awakening of this hidden potential that exists in human consciousness. So Yoga Nidra has its origins in these tantric texts. And this is a process especially used for inducing deep relaxation at physical, mental, and emotional levels. This is where our solution, the solution to our problems lies. Our problems start because physically we are unable to relax. Mentally also we can't relax. And emotionally also we can't relax. We don't have control over all these three levels: the physical, the mental, and the emotional. The negative emotions keep coming into our mind. We can't control them. That's what causes stress, anxiety, anger, depression, hatred, jealousy, sadness, guilt. Mental dimensions, the decision that we make or the thoughts that we have, we don't have clarity in this dimension also. And physically, our body is not under our control. We have so many diseases, physical diseases, and we can't really do much about it except for going and taking medications. So Yoga Nidra is a very, very important practice which brings very deep relaxation at all these three levels: the physical, mental, and the emotional level. If you consider the practice of Yoga Nidra, you can compare it with the practice of Pratyahar as described by Patanjali in Ashtanga Yoga. The fifth state, fifth step. The first is yamas, second is niyama, third is asana, fourth is pranayam, and the fifth is pratyahar. Now pratyahar is a state where you are withdrawing the sensory organs which are oriented towards their material objects. The eyes want to see beautiful things, so eyes are attracted to this object which are beautiful. Similarly for all other sense organs. So pratyahar is a state of withdrawal of your mind from the sensory organs. So basically the mind is very important, which is connecting to the sensory organs and ultimately looking at the objects. So you stop the mind and turn it inwards. And this is a starting point of practice of meditation. Pratyahar is certainly not meditation. Pratyahar is a starting point of meditation. And Yoga Nidra is a practice of Pratyahar. But at deeper levels, Yoga Nidra can also become meditation. If you try and explore the origin of Yoga Nidra in Tantras, the most important text that comes to your mind is the Devi Mahatmya. It's a very beautiful tantric worship of the goddess Durga. And this goddess Durga is this cosmic energy. The whole of our cosmos, the pure energy, is one. And this pure energy in Tantra is represented as a feminine principle, a beautiful goddess. So many arms of this goddess Durga represent symbolically her efficiency, multidimensional ability. The weapons tell us her strength over every aspect of this manifested cosmos. She is the mother because she has given birth to the whole of creation. But as she is the mother, she has this love in her heart which goes out for every part, every object in the creation. She is the one who sustains the whole cosmos. The energy is at the root of the creation and also destruction. And also she is the only aspect that allows the maintenance of this cosmos in a state of balance and harmony. In this Devi Mahatmya, the text, all these aspects of this cosmic energy are described in a very beautiful way. And how this energy ultimately overpowers the negative expressions of our own self. Interesting thing in yoga and tantra is tantra doesn't differentiate gods and demons. They say energy is just one. There are two expressions of this energy. One is the one that sustains, supports the creation, and the other one is the one that destroys the creation. But look, the destruction is also an important aspect. If there's no destruction, there will not be any new creation. So these two need to hang in balance. But when that negative aspect starts overpowering, then that starts destroying the creation. And that, this beautiful cosmic energy never lets it happen. That's the whole theme of Devi Mahatmya. This goddess, this beautiful goddess Durga, destroying all the negative aspects which are overpowering the creation. Now in this text of Devi Mahatmya, in the first chapter there are 13 chapters and 700 verses, shlokas as we say it in Sanskrit. Yoga Nidra is actually the name of this goddess Durga in the first chapter. So Yoga Nidra is none other than the cosmic energy itself, as per the text of Devi Mahatmya. The story is also very interesting of this Yoga Nidra in the first chapter. In yogic ideas, the cosmic energy has three expressions. The creation, which is represented by the god Brahma. The operations or maintenance is by god Vishnu. And the last one, the destructive aspect, that is Shiva, the destroyer. So the story is like this. Of course, it's a symbolic story. Lord Vishnu, the one who maintains and operates the entire creation, is under the influence of Yoga Nidra, and he is in this deep samadhi state, the state of harmony. But it's in the deep sleep state. Of course, sleep is different than samadhi. But this is a deep meditative sleep. And who has put Lord Vishnu into this state? It is this beautiful goddess Yoga Nidra. She has put him into this state. So he is under the influence of Yoga Nidra. And in this state, there are two demons. The names are Madhu and Kaitava. They are born. From his ears, the wax from his ears, they are born. And when they are born, they become very strong. And then they want to destroy the god of creation, that is Brahma. When this god Brahma realizes that Madhu and Kaitab are going to harm him and the entire creation, he starts worshipping and offering his prayers to this beautiful goddess Yoga Nidra, asking her to please take away the influence that she has put on Vishnu and let him wake up so he can destroy this Madhu and Kaitab, the demons, so that the creation can be saved. And this is a symbolic story. The deep meditative sleep is away from this conscious world. Sometimes the negative aspects can become stronger when we are not aware of what is happening. And these negative aspects can overpower the creation. So the continuous awareness is very important. So this Brahma is worshipping this beautiful goddess Yoga Nidra, telling her to let Vishnu wake up. And then finally, these prayers are answered by this omnipotent, omniscient goddess Yoga Nidra. And she lets Vishnu wake up. And then Vishnu destroys the demons. So this is the name Yoga Nidra given to this beautiful goddess. So when we apply this theory to our state, this energy is a deep meditative state that we can achieve. A state of union, a state of harmony, where we gather all our resources, whether we get all our energy together, which is dissipated, which is diffused because of our day-to-day life. So this process of Yoga Nidra is to get all of that energy together. We have divided our energy. One thought takes some energy in that direction, another thought takes away the other energy in some other direction. Some other stressful thoughts consume part of our energy, and ultimately we are left with very, very dissipated, distracted state of our energy. So Yoga Nidra is a process of getting all this energy together and making it strong. So this is the whole idea of this first chapter of this Devi Mahatmya. In this same Devi Mahatmya, at the beginning of this wonderful tantric text, there is a mantra called Devi Kavach. It's a stotra, it's a worship, it's a prayer of the goddess Durga. And the description of this goddess Durga in this Devi Kavach is very interesting. Now this Devi Kavach is not talking about anything outside. The Devi Kavach says that the energy that is outside, the cosmic energy which is outside, is there in our body as well, in our mind and in our body. And then in this Devi Kavach describes these different forms of this goddess, this cosmic energy in different parts of our body. So Devi Kavach goes very step by step. It talks about our head, the form of energy that stabilizes our intellect. It talks about the energy at the top of our head, the back of our head, the frontal lobe, the forehead, then the energy in the eyes, the energy in the nose, the energy in the tongue, the energy in our throat, the energy in our ears, the energy in our heart, the energy in our lungs, the energy in our abdomen, the energy in our reproductive organs, the energy in our arms, the energy in our fingers, the energy in our back, the energy in our hips, the energy in our thighs. It's a very beautiful description of how this energy, how this cosmic energy, the goddess, represents our different body parts, and how this energy is just one form. So there is an integration of all these different functions of our body parts into one main function, and that is our pranic energy. That is the energy that sustains our life. That is the energy that allows us to do our karmas. That is the energy that controls our life. Then this Devi Kavach also talks about the various pranic energy levels, various aspects of our karmas that this energy governs, various dimensions of our mind that this energy controls. And then we call this beautiful energy the mother, and we unite all these aspects. And this is a meditation. This is a form of meditation on this beautiful cosmic energy that works in a very efficient and very wonderful way in our body and mind. And this is Devi Kavach. You can find the references of this different body part awareness in the Yoga Nidra that is designed by Swami Satyananda ji. So this is Devi Kavach aspect, or Devi Kavach Stotra from the Devi Mahatmya. Moving ahead, there is a practice of Nyas. The Nyasa practice is there in Devi Mahatmya. Of course, it is there in other tantric texts and other Hindu texts, but it's there in this Devi Mahatmya as well. What is Nyasa? Nyasa word means to keep the awareness on. So the word Nyasa says you have to keep your awareness on certain part of your body. So before starting the Devi Mahatmya, the Nyasa practice is prescribed. It's a ritual. What do? You actually keep your mental awareness on specific parts of the body, and then you offer respect to the energy in that part. Say for example, all the fingers on your right hand and left hand, you become aware of them. You touch these fingers, say thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger. Then you touch your eyes, then you touch your nose, ears, your forehead, top of your head, back of your head. Then you touch your shoulders, then you touch your reproductive organs, then you touch your navel, then you touch your legs. So you are actually touching these body parts and becoming more and more aware of these body parts. So this is a practice of Nyas, and you can see what Swami Satyananda has done in the Yoga Nidra practice. There's so much focus on these different body parts, and he has mentioned in his text of Yoga Nidra that this practice of body part awareness is inspired from Nyasa. So this is the background of Yoga Nidra from Devi Mahatmya. Now there are other references also. Another reference of Yoga Nidra is there in a book written by the great founder of the Sannyasa tradition, the monks tradition, and the one who established the yogic and Vedic religion in India in 8th century is Adi Shankaracharya, and his book Yoga Taravali mentions Yoga Nidra. Now if you compare this Yoga Nidra idea of Shankaracharya, it is very similar to what is mentioned in Devi Mahatmya, our previous discussion. So if Shankaracharya says that Yoga Nidra is an undisturbed, introverted state of our consciousness where the external world, there is a complete disconnect between your state of consciousness and the external world. No thought of external world exists. No connection with the external world exists. No transfer of information is there. And this is exactly was the state of Vishnu under the influence of Yoga Nidra, that he was not aware of these demons Madhu and Kaitabha. And that's why this Brahma had to worship this Yoga Nidra and request her to take her influence away from Vishnu so that he can come out. But though this story tells that Yoga Nidra is taking you away from the awareness of external world, the important point here to make is we are constantly in connect with the external world. We are in constant touch with our sensory organs. We are constantly talking about the desires, the object of desires, our attachments, our achievements. My ego and my sensory perceptions is what is there 24 hours in the field of my consciousness. And because of that, I experience a lot of stress. I experience a lot of negative emotions, and the quality of life goes down. And if I practice Yoga Nidra, I completely cut that and I go inside. And that introverted state ultimately takes me to the union with the cosmic consciousness, the divine dimension. And this is nothing but state of samadhi. This is nothing but state of yoga, the oneness, the experience of oneness. And this is precisely what Yoga Nidra is as per Shankaracharya's Yoga Taravali book. Let's understand the verses that Shankaracharya has given describing Yoga Nidra. There are two verses that he talks about Yoga Nidra. Verse number 24 and 25 in Yoga Taravali. So the verse 24 says that when you are looking inwards, the Atma, the pure consciousness inside, that introverted state focused on the Atma allows you to get rid of all the attachments, and then you attain a constant divine super awakened state, the conscious sleep, that is Yoga Nidra, and you will give up all the thoughts and karmas that you are doing in this universe. And if you keep repeating this practice over and over again, the introversion practice, focusing on the Atma, giving up all the worldly thoughts, then what will happen? He says, Nitanta Bhadra, Yoga Nidra, ever benevolent, beautiful Yoga Nidra. By the constant practice of this beautiful Yoga Nidra, the resolve of yogis, their goals ultimately will take them beyond Nishesha Nirmuli Karmajale, taking away from the karmas and the effects of karmas, the positive, negative effects of karmas that will ultimately lead to the attachments. The various resolves and thoughts, and they come in our head, they will all be gone from our consciousness, and ultimately we will achieve this state of samadhi. So this is about the history of Yoga Nidra. The modern version of Yoga Nidra, as designed by Swami Satyananda, certainly brings in all these aspects that we have just seen in this Devi Mahatmya and also in Yoga Taravali text. And he has indeed put this practice into such a beautiful way that we actually can see some benefits for ourselves. So Yoga Nidra is being used these days for physical and mental health. We use it for psychological problems, we use it for stress, we use it for insomnia, we use it for stress related disorders, we even use it for cancer, we use it for developmental disorders in kids, we use it in pregnant women, we use it in old age people. But we can't really forget the real purpose of Yoga Nidra. And this real purpose of Yoga Nidra is to achieve the state of samadhi. So I'm going to stop here. I hope you have a good background, a historical background of where this Yoga Nidra comes from. It will certainly help you understand this process in a bit more details. Hari Om.